Hey guys, and welcome to Tuesday on Polyglots of the Week. This week we are talking about study tips, or personally how we study. So, Ed focused a little bit more on general tips, and I am going to go into that a little bit, but I want to start off with how I study because I'm a narcissistic asshole and I like to talk about myself. So, my study methods have changed a lot. Um, I've never stuck with just one way to study a language. Um, a lot of people prefer the sit down and look at a book and listen to audio and pick it up that way. Some people prefer just audio. Some people don't even deal with that. They just go out and immerse themselves. And that's great. That really is. But I can't do that all the time with all my languages. Um, One thing that I've aimed to do with my language learning is study each language in a different way. I've done this for a few reasons, but the main one is that I wanted to see if there was a better way for learning a specific language. Like Japanese, for example. I use memories, a lot for that. There's audio, and there's text, and there's readings for the kanji. There's all these different things. There's a support group. I mean, not. There is a support group for those that can't do it and just cry all day. No, but there is a forum that you can use for these, made by the guy who made these courses, um, and Tumblr. Tumblr is a really good resource for language learning, and that's part of the reason why I made my language blog on there and how this kind of all got started. I love using Tumblr to learn languages. One, because you have such a variety of posts that people make. There are long text posts that are more like diary entries or journal entries. There are just images with a tiny bit of text. Um, and that's really good. Just those tiny bits of text that can really highlight a grammar point, or even just following a blog dedicated to updating every week new grammar structures or new kanji. I have taken the initiative to start uh, to take the JLPT in December. So I really that's something else. Set goals for yourself in that language where you have to be at a certain level. I think that's really going to help. Now, for Spanish, this has kind of always just been the method for me. Is just stay in the class. Now that I'm at university, it's a little easier. So taking the class and tutoring Spanish are really the ways that I use it. I write journal posts on Tumblr, and that's all I do. I mean, I do a lot of speaking. My major's in Spanish, so I do a lot of speaking at school. For Swedish, I do a lot of listening to songs in Swedish. Um, I do a lot of reading on Tumblr, but really it's songs and movies. Disney movies in Swedish are fantastic, and you can find them on YouTube. You can find them on torrents. And that leads me into my other point. Torrenting! Woohoo! Um, it may be a little illegal, um, but torrenting by using something like uTorrent and the Pirate Bay in tandem really, really works. They have um, movies in just about any language. They have TV shows. They have a whole bunch of stuff, usually with subtitles too. And that's what I've been doing for German. Now, I am taking a German class this year at university, so I'm using that. I found friends on Tumblr that I speak with. Not very often, but I do. Something else that I do for language learning is I use my phone because, like I said, I'm on the run a lot and I have a smartphone. So, what I've done is on my home page, I've got a little language folder. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's this one right here. And it's got the BBC News in there, it's got Memrise, Duolingo, and some Babbel for Spanish and Swedish. And another thing that I use to talk with people in other languages in my communication folder is this app called Voxer. And Voxer is basically a walkie talkie that you can use to talk to anybody in the world. So you, of course, have to find somebody that also has a smartphone that also has Voxer. But I found a few people, and it works really, really well. For American Sign Language, um, since that is something that I do study, I have a certificate in ASL. The thing, really, since it's a non-vocal language, is that you have to. There's no other option. You have to get out into the community and make connections with people. It's nice because a lot of cities have silent suppers, silent lunches, coffee dates that they have every week or at least twice a month, something like that, where you can really get your hand into the community. Um, Building a relationship with your classmates, especially in American Sign Language, is so important. You will use each other to bounce ideas off of each other. You use each other and study outside of class to get together and only speak in sign language. Um, there are events for the class. My professor did a lot of um, house parties, and she would invite her deaf friends and colleagues that were interpreters as well. And it was a really good experience to be able to use that language constantly, and that's very important, especially for a visual language. Any sign language really is so important that you get out into the community. Even if you don't, you can find people through Skype. Now, this is not one of my preferred methods, especially for sign languages, because Skype kind of sucks in the video quality. Audio is sometimes okay for me, and when you're doing a signed language, you need something that can keep up with how fast your hands are moving. If you deliberately have to slow yourself down in order to speak, I think that really hinders your learning a lot and kind of just makes you more frustrated than anything. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time to study them, sit down and look at textbooks and all this kind of things. But as long as you have that passion to learn a language, you're going to be all right. Anyway, that's the video for the week. Thank you guys. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and share with your friends. Reblog on Tumblr. Tweet this to all your peeps. And stay tuned for the rest of the week. I'll see you next Tuesday. Ciao.